So just like we discussed yesterday, you drag and drop to complete this. So this has been cleaned to just a single space in between the first and the last names. So to see that, we'll need to remove the formulas here, and to do that, we need to paste this as just values. I have some shortcuts I have earlier. You're going to also see how to use a shortcut to do this, but for now you can just click on, and just copy this and paste it, and then when this prompt comes up, you select the 1 2 3 here, which is values. So it's just going to paste this as values, and then that means that it is removing the formulas that you have sitting behind these cells. So now that we've done that, you can now click on this. If you click on just right before the B for bar, you notice that we don't have any spaces any longer. So this is a very good way of cleaning your data. Yesterday we discussed the if functions. We're just going to go ahead and look at our VLOOKUP function. So the VLOOKUP function is used to look a value from an existing data, from a main data into an extracted data set. So for instance, you want to get this information, you want to fill out this information for this athlete, you want to know the location of each of these athletes, you want to get their years of experience. Sorry, let me just remove this. You want to get their years of experience, and then you also want to get more information, maybe the number of completed. So basically, for you to do a VLOOKUP, you have a limited data set, you have an extract from a data set, maybe an extract from a database, then you want to get corresponding information or more information from another data set. It could be from a same maybe from another data set, but just to give you more information on this. So let me just make it clear. Assuming you have a student data set, and then the student data set just has your name, maybe the first and last name of the student, and then the student's reg number, and then you also have a different data sheet that has the students' reg numbers, and then the courses each of those students, or maybe the levels that those students are. So you need to bring the two data together just to help you do a broad analysis, and to help you run get more insights basically from a large data set. So for us to do this, I know the data is get the data. Okay, so this is the data set we're going to be using. So we're just going to do the VLOOKUP. I can just quickly drag this. Sorry. We're going to do the VLOOKUP from this data set into this. And then to do that, we're going to type VLOOKUP. And then, so we are looking up a value, and then this value is going to be like a primary key in the main data sets that we're using. So let me just explain that further. So these athlete names, you can also see them here. This is also the same. This is the same athlete name, but we just want to get the location, which is the geography location. We want to get the location, and then we also want to get other information on these data sets. Okay, so for some reason the data set is not there, so we're just going to use this. That's a different data set. So let's just go further to use this and explain it. It will work for anything. Okay, so we're trying to get the location and the product and amount of these reps, and then just to feed it into the space, just in case we want to use it for another analysis. So here it's asking what's the location. Here would say what's the product, then here we'll just ask the amount. Okay, So to do that, so just click equal to VLOOKUP, and then we are searching this lookup value on the main data set. And then we also want to get the location, which is the second column, then the product is the third column, amount is the fourth column, then the customers is the fifth column. If you can take a look, you will notice that as we move through this data set by column, we would see that the values for each column changes. Just right at the top, you will see times 3C times 4C times 5C, and that's showing you like the number of columns, just like we discussed yesterday. So to get the column, to get the location of each of these names, we'll take note of the column number, which is 2. So here we'll just do a comma 2. Then we're telling it to select the value. We're telling it to pick the information that has this particular lookup value from this location, which has an address name or address number of 2. And then we're also telling it that if it doesn't match, if it's not the approximate match, a related match to it, that it should return a false. So we can type false here, or we can just click 0. So it should return a 0 if it's wrong. So with this, we've been able to get the location of Hussein, and we can quickly just check that by saying, okay, it's the first one. So Hussein is New Zealand. Instead of having to do a control, instead of searching it one by one, so we can just get this. And of course, you can always drop down to get this value as well. So going further with the same thing, we can just do a VLOOKUP. So the VLOOKUP value, the table array where it's going to look up, then the colon index number, which it needs to return the value from, and then we also have the range lookup. So following this, we'll just click on the lookup value, which is the name in this case, and then we'll go to our data set, which is the table array where we're going to do the lookup from. So we'll select table array starting from your lookup value. So you can't come and start from location where you need to, when your lookup value is your name. So you have to take note of that. So you start from name, and then you select all the way to, so we've already done the first one. So just for an additional tip, we can actually select all through the range, just because we already know that we'll need the product and we need the amount. So this is just like a shortcut to this. Instead of having to stop at product and then taking the number 3 and coming back to copy the formula again, you can just select all through the range that you need. And then, but then you have to take note of the value of the cell. Take note of the column number that you want to use. In this case, we are using product, which is a column number of 3. And then we are just going to go all the way through the whole data set. And then we're going to do a comma 3, because that's the column index number that we want to look up the content of the column from. And then we're going to do a comma 0 or a comma false, and then you just enter. So just in case you're confused, you can always ask a question. This is just like an added step to this. Then you also just drag it down to get the rest of the information. And then with that, you can, since you already have the lookup range, so just to go back and explain further, if we will take note of this range is from colon A all the way to colon E. That's our data array. So when we look at the formula from the formula bar right here, we would see that the range that was selected for the table array is also from A to E. And this is different from what was selected in the first formula, which is just from A to B. So in this case, for A to E, we are saying that it should take everything in this range, and then we can just alternate the cell colons as we go ahead. So since we already have this, you can just copy this formula, Control C, then you just click on escape. then you paste this formula right here again. So you will see that it's also giving us the same value as we have on cell G12, and that's because we have exactly the same. We're telling it even on cell G12 that it should select E12, so it's making reference to E12 instead. So what we need to do is just to change the colon index number, which is what is looking up, and then if we search here, the colon index number for amount is 4. So we'll just go back here and change this to 4, since it's the amount that we want to get and the index number is 4, and then that automatically changes. And then also the colon index number for customers is 5, so we'll just go ahead and we'll change this to a 5, and then we'll also edit this and drag and drop. The VLOOKUP function is a very helpful tool. It's something that you would have to keep using, as against there are also other ways to do this depending on what you're looking for. As we go ahead, we'll see other ways to do that as well. So going further, we're going to look at how to extract first names, just in case you're trying to clean the data from a database or from a data source, and then you need to extract just the first names and the last name from when given that the name is together in this case. So to extract the first name, what we can do is just to do, okay, so for this case we can simply pick up first names here, or let's just do length. Okay, first of all, let's just get the length of the names. So to get the length of this name here, so what we need to do is to click on equal to, then we get the length. That's just to know the number of names that we have here, to know the length of each name here. So if we just want to get the length of the first name, so we just click on length, and then so here it's adding up all the values of what we have here, including the spaces here. And then also when we also drag it down, we are going to be able to get the remaining ones. Okay, sorry, let's just come back to this. So in case we just want to do a concatenation is just to add two cells together. So you have a cell 1 and a cell 2, and you need to bring them together. So to do the concatenation, an easy way to actually do the cell name is you can use a flash fill. But just to do the concatenation, if you use a flash fill and you just start typing out the names. So what Excel will do for you is to advise you, is just going to suggest that you, since it's a smart tool, is going to quickly pull out the remaining, that's other names that are the first names for the remaining letters. So it brought it up earlier, but since it has stopped, we can just easily do a Control E and get those first names. So let's just go back to this. If you type, just keep typing the bar Benson, so it automatically fills out all the first names for you, and this is called the flash fill. So with this, you can quickly separate the first names, just in case you have a lot of it, instead of just typing it one by one. Then to also check the last name, you can also go through the same route, and then it automatically also selects that. But if that doesn't work, you can just click Control E. I'm going to do that later though. Just click Control E is also going to do a flash fill and bring out the same thing that we just did, and then you can easily separate your first and last names. So just in case you now need to, for any reason, maybe these names from the data sets that we have came as a first name and a last name separately, we can concatenate the two names together. So concatenation is just bringing two cells together to form one. So you can concatenate anything, you can bring anything together. Maybe you have an ID, and for instance, you have an ID number like this, and then you're trying to have a primary key. So you can still concatenate these ID numbers to the first name just to give it a unique name, because sometimes you could have a first name repeating itself. Maybe you have bar here, you can have maybe bar for you can have another first name which is bar something else, could be bar advani, something like that. So you just want to make your own primary key. So to do that, you can concatenate two colons, for instance, and then it's going to give you a unique key which you can also use for your VLOOKUP. So in this case, we'll just go ahead to concatenate this. So there are different ways to do this concatenation. You can just use the function concatenate. So here you select the first text, then you put a comma, just like this command is telling you. Then you select the next one, then you put a comma if there is another one to select. Else you just close it and then you click on enter. So this automatically concatenates the two words together. But like you can see, it's not exactly looking like this, because it's bringing the first name and the last name together. So to fix this issue, what we can do is, still using the formula, we can use this, and then just put a space here, and then put a comma, then you select the last name. So this is just going to introduce a space between the first name and the last name, so that it makes it look better and more understandable. So, and with this now we have this same value as we have here. So another way you can still concatenate is using the plus sign. So, and that's by getting the first one and then the last one. No. Another way we can concatenate is using the and sign. So, and that's by using the first, and then, so this is and, just like operations in that maybe you've studied in school or you've come across. So it's just telling you to and this and this. So it's just saying to bring these two values together. So when you've done that as well, it also brings the values together, and that's another way you can do your concatenation. But just for easy peasy, you can always remember concatenate. Then you can select the first letter or the first cell that you want, then put a space to it just to make it look good, depending on what you want to do. If you want to have the first name and the last name together, it's fine, you can just put it like that. And I think in this case you can just do that. And then we also want to just add these values, which we just call rage number in this case. And then with this, we've gotten a unique key, like a primary key for other types of analysis that we can want to do. So this is how we can extract our first names, and how we can also do some concatenations on this field. So here I'm also just trying to ask you if you have a duplicate first name. We would have another session to that, but just in case you want to search, the way you can just search for duplicates. Of course, we know it's very possible to have a duplicate first name, because two people can be answering the same names, though in this case we're not seeing something alike, but can just highlight the full data sets that you want to check. You click on conditional formatting, Then you scroll down to duplicate values. So here it's telling you that it's going to show you the duplicates, and then it's going to highlight it on a light red field with dark red text. You can always change that if you don't want it to. So nothing is selected here because we don't have a duplicate value here. But in case we just want to check, we can just purposely duplicate this value just to see what we're trying to do. And then when we select duplicate, it's going to show us the values that appear more than once that are duplicates on this cell. So we would also need to either remove it like this, or you can simply remove duplicates, which I'm still going to do later. So another thing I would like to show you is how to remove blanks. So this is also a very important data cleaning process, because you could download the data set and then you have a lot of blank spaces. So it's also good that you check your data and then see that these things are not coming up. So just to do that, what you need to do is to highlight the data sets that you're going to work with. Then you hold your function 5 and then you press on F5, and then you click on your special to get the blanks that you're going to actually remove. So I highlighted it earlier, but these are just the blank spaces here. It doesn't come with a color, it's just because it's highlighted. Then, so just to do that again, so you click on special, and then you click on blanks, and then you click on select, and then you just use control minus to remove this cell. So you can just click on shift your cells upwards, and then it's just going to remove it. But if you take notes, what we clicked was shift the cells upwards. So if you saw that, it just moved the cells that we deleted upwards, and this has gone further to alter and even make the data set wrong again. So what we need to do is to just do Control Z to your rescue. Then you do that again. So if you take note of this, you can see that when you click on Control minus, you can see shift cells up, you can see delete entire rows, you can see delete the entire columns. So in this case, we want these rows to go off so that it doesn't complete the data that we're trying to analyze. So when we also do this, we'll see that we've been able to trim our data set, and then we have a clean data set that has no blanks. Just in case this data set is maybe too long and we cannot see it, you can just search for a double check. You can see that we don't even have any blank spaces any longer. So you can see here, F5, click on special and control plus minus. So with this, I just want to use this to show you how to remove data sets if you have duplicates, just like we've seen earlier. So if you can remember, what you need to do is just highlight the data sets that you need, then click on duplicates, then select OK. But then if you want to remove the data sets, you need to go to the data section of this interface. So you can see you have your file. We've been working on the home section for a while now, but going into this data, we have a lot of features here that actually helps us to do a lot of data cleaning, data analysis, basically. So this section is actually very helpful. Helps you to, this is maybe for your what if analysis. This is used for a text to colon. So your text colon is in a situation where you have different texts maybe scattered up together, and you just need to separate it, to split it into different columns. Maybe you have a data set that has your date and your time to that. I would have actually shown that. Then so you just use your text to columns to split the data into two. But then going ahead, what we need to show here is how to remove these duplicates. So to do that, you just click on remove duplicates. So here it's asking you if you want to remove duplicates from just this column, and because you have just one column here, that is why it's selecting only one. If we have like multiple columns or a full multiple columns, you're going to see all the columns here, and it's going to ask you if you want it to affect the rest of the columns. So here it's telling you that it has spotted 4 duplicate values and it has removed them. So right now we don't have any duplicate here any longer. And then also, just in case we want to do, we are trying to compare between 2 different columns that are probably not together. So you can just hold down on your control key and then select the 2 tables together. So the tables that you are trying to search for duplicates. So we're trying to search if we have any duplicate, any value on column B that is repeated on column F. So, and then to do that, you highlight your B, hold down on your control key, and then highlight your F key, and then go back again to get to your duplicates. So for here, we would also just use this to see the duplicate list that we have. So with this, we can see that, okay, yes, we actually have values that are duplicated in these tables. And then if you want to remove the duplicates, you can just go ahead and remove the duplicates, just like we've shown earlier. So depending on the analysis you're doing, depending on the outcome you want to get, it would advise on which of the duplicate values or which of the data sets to actually remove the duplicates from. Okay, I don't know if we have any question at this point, so that it just doesn't look like I'm just speaking. Can you just help me be looking through the comment section, the chat, sorry, just in case you have any questions. So while that is going on, so with
No
this,
problem. Once there's a question, I'll let
this
you
just
know.
want to show how to clean up different data formats that you have on a data set. So as you go on, you're going to see that a lot of things could come in from a data set, especially the ones you get maybe online or the ones you get from different sources. They are just, anything could just come up. So this is another way to clean up this data set, just in case you have a value or a data set that pops up like this. So with just an easy way to do that also is to highlight the data set in question, then you click on your format. Okay, we can still just use a format cell. Oh, for some reason this is again. Okay. Um, so for some reason this is just hanging, and I would need it to clear off just before we continue. That's what happens when you've not turned off your laptop in a while. So sorry about this. But maybe while this is going on, if we actually have any questions, it would be nice to hear from people.
Okay, so thank you so much, Sylvia. We've been having positive comments so far. But there's someone who says that he needs you to go over the remove blanks again. Think he needs clarity on how to go through that step.
Okay, that's fine. I'm scared of clicking this escape because if I do that, it might actually get worse. Okay, so I know that we're supposed to, I'm going to attend to I'm going to go over it again. I can see, please, what was the shortcut key to highlight? So highlighting, if you mean that select A will be the shortcut key to highlight. So the select A is going to like highlight everything. But I don't know if that's what you're asking. So you can just select A to highlight the data sets that you want to use. So it's going to highlight everything. Select all. So for the for the data sets, going over the removing duplicates, I'll still go over that as soon as we're able to. As soon as I'll respond. But I don't know if someone would. I know we are supposed to have our laptops. Can anyone maybe share his screen and I mean the color of duplicate? Oh, okay, no problem. Okay, it's fine. If someone can just or Daniel, I don't know, Queen. Is it possible to maybe give him? Can someone share his screen while we wait for this, or do you mind I log out and just log back in when I fix this? Because
Okay, so if we have anyone that is following with the data sets, please be a hero and signify by raising your hand.
yes, so a real hero. I want to believe that some people actually have. Okay, someone is raising his or her hand. I can be. Sorry if I want that name.
Okay, roll quick. I can be sorry. Okay, so I'll be giving you access now. So I hope I can. Simeon, are you on this call? Okay, yes. So you've been given a right to share your screen.
Good morning, everyone. Please
Good
can you confirm
morning.
you can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. So just a quick revision of what you taught us and something I've learned today. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay. We started like okay, yes, you started with trim function. So these names are not in order. So if I want to trim this name so that there will be no space, so that they go to the word space. So all I have to do is to use the trim function by pressing equal to trim brackets. Enter. So the name are now well arranged. Can you still hear me?
Yes, we can. You're doing a good
Yes, we
job.
can.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Thank you so
spot on.
much. So, and you also taught us about if you want to separate the name. So extracting maybe the first name or the second name from this group name. So all we have to do is to use okay, to just press the first name. So the flash will do that automatically. First one, second, yeah, then use flash view. So easy. So if you want to extract the second name, so all you have to do just to type the name and I read the first one and the second one. Then Excel will do the work automatically. Right.
Uh, okay. So
I'm not getting this.
you're not
So
using the exact stuff the
let
that
me
line.
start over.
So
Let me start over.
okay. But
Let me
so
start over.
so far you've done a great job. I would actually like if we can have somebody else um give a try, you understand? So we know that more persons are following. So who else
Oh,
can
I've
do
gotten
this?
it.
Oh,
I've
that's
gotten
nice.
it.
Well done,
Yeah,
well done.
yeah. So
This
now
is quite nice.
let me conclude with the concatenate, how to add the two together. So, but in this case, we started with gigging bowlings, that's the first name and second name, but I'll be concatenating the second name and the first name this time around. So here's how I'm going to do it. No, I'm going to use a and, but in this case, there is no space. So all I have to do is to use the function concatenate bowling apostrophe space close apostrophe space F2 close bracket enter. Drag it down. So instead of assuming you're having a data set of like let's say 500, 1000, we can't drag down from the top to the last cell. All you have to do is to come bring our cursor to this box, this box. Can we see it? Hey, can we see this box?
Yes, we can. You're
So
just
now just bring cursor on it and make sure that your cursor is now dark cross. Look at it again. We are having a white big cross, but now it's now black cross. Then double click on it. That's all. So assuming you're having a data set of 500, 1000, once you double click, so the function you input, the formula you inputted, you automatically have effect on all the data sets. So
All right.
beautiful, beautiful. A
Thank you.
virtual round of applause for him.
I'm blushing.
Well done. Well
Thank
done,
you.
Akanibi. Well done. Well done. Thank you
Yes,
so
let's
much
have
for
our
also
speaker
saving the
back
day.
online.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Queen.
Alright.
Um, I'm glad we are back.
Wow. Oh,
Ah,
so,
okay, so well, it's
thank you.
also good that you were able to tell us some things that you learned, and then I also was able to pick up some things from what you said. So let me just touch up on what you said. So you can actually use the and for concatenating, right? I noticed that you had to go back to the formula, and I think it was from what I showed earlier, but no, you can't. So what you can do is just the same way. You just click plus. When you select the first cell, you click on your plus. Then you also, sorry, I keep using the plus. Then you click on the and sign. Then you also introduce structure of just this way you are going to do it on, like using the formulas, and
Okay.
then you still add the last one you're trying to concatenate. So it's actually does work for this as well. My bad, I think I didn't explain it very well. So it's good you said something. And then also, if I can go back to that, when you have bar and you have Denison, right? And the flash field just refuses to pop up. What you can just do is to highlight the data set that you're trying to, like, highlight the area that you're trying to use, right? And then you just do a control E. I thought I mentioned it, but it's obvious I skipped it. So thank you so much for sharing. And with that, we've been able to also add more um, shortcuts, I'll say, to what we've learned so far. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Akande. All right, so moving on, and I also tried this again, and this was still hanging, but thank God it's Excel, so we have different ways to do what we want to do. So what we just need to do here in this case is to select what format we want this data set to be. So assuming we want this data set to be, okay, what I'll just do is to have a duplicate. And if I didn't mention, please, is important that when you download your data set or when you get a data set from a data source, please have a duplicate. Just clone that data set, just keep it somewhere, just copy it and paste it elsewhere with a different, you can name it the main file, then you now have a different one that you use for your analysis, just in case you would need to make reference to it. It is very important, please. So to do this formatting, we'll just highlight the one that we want to use for the formatting. So in this case, we can just use the first one, which is some data that has a gray shade. So we'll click on this brush, which is the format painter, and then we just quickly select everything that we needed to highlight. So it automatically changes the formatting to this. So, but if you want to also use a different one, maybe you want to just use the plain some data, what you can do is to also format it. Click on the format and then select, and then automatically highlight everything. So I don't know where it went to, but we can, just in case we have like, I know that at the end of that we had like cells that are looking very unkempt and some of them were just uneven. So what you can just do is to highlight the cell in particular, or you can just highlight, just click on this arrow here, which is going to automatically select the entire spreadsheet. Then on any of the rows, you can just double click on the row, and then on the columns, you can also just double click. So obviously, this is bigger because we have um, this input with a bigger text. So if we do that again, it's going to resize, readjust to some data. So that's just a way to rearrange it. So just to make it look fine, you can still go ahead to add your borders, add your lines. I didn't even try to talk about it, but there are other ways you can still format your data sets. Maybe I will just do a chipping now. Sometimes you feel it's basic, but it is not. The only way to do this is I would have to shut down my laptop and then come back up again. And I don't think we have that luxury of time. And this has started again. I would need to shut down my laptop. So I know I experience this when I keep working and I don't get to probably turn off my laptop, and but then it just had to happen again. Okay. Wow. Okay, so just to make sure that we don't all stay mute, can we have another Akani B come to our
Okay, Sylvia. Hello.
Okay, Queen, since we have some other facilitators also online, while
Yeah.
Sylvia tries to maybe restart, we can take any questions. And I think I saw somebody like Gerald in the room. So if he's there, he can also participate and some of us can also respond while she's trying to get her system up and running.
Okay. Yes. Gerald. Good to have you. For those of us who do not know, Gerald is one of our wonderful data analysts, and we have in section 103 and currently works with Cypher Crescent. Yeah, I hope I'm not wrong. He's also a trainer. He handles a lot of trainings when it comes to data usage, Excel. I know he runs a training under the name of Excel for Energy. Abby, please, Jared, when you come on board, please just correct me if I'm wrong with the title of that, because I know I've seen it on LinkedIn. I've participated in some of your sessions, and it's very, very informative. So, Gerald, you have the floor. I don't know if Silva is available to come back online.
So we can take questions if there are any questions. Let's start from that first.
Yes. Okay, so if you have questions on what we've done so far, please just drop your questions and let's handle that. Okay, so MD said she missed the first data cleaning. If someone can share, please hold on a minute.
So while that's also coming on, Simeon, if you're online, can you help us enable Gerald or to unmute him? Or Iwari as well. We're all struggling to unmute. Thank you.
We sincerely apologize for the hiccups we're having. Just give us a minute or two and everything will settle out. Okay, Sylvia, I see you're back on call. Okay. Okay, Siva, please confirm if you can actually speak now.
All right, thank you so much. Yes, I can.
Okay, so are we good to continue?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Sorry, I
So
had a network glitch.
it's understandable. This is Nigeria.
Just pray it's far from us now. You wanted to say something? Sorry.
Okay, so yeah, we've had some persons with some issues so far. Um and we were looking at how to actually handle those situations. So starting with the person that had the case of the blank, how to use the blank, we're supposed to go over that. And then we also have um, someone who missed out on the information on the data, first data cleaning process. So that's like the issue where we are. But from what I'm seeing, I think that the data set we're using is a little bit different from the one you're using.
Oh yes, yes, yes. Okay, so the one I shared is for like this is it. It's the one we're going to use and do like the proper hands-on. This is just supposed to be um like the course, and then the data set I shared is for the practical itself. So we are still going to get to that. Yes.
Okay, so I hope we've taken note of that so that we will not have that confusion. So yes, for the blank issue and then the data cleaning.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, Queen. Thank you for stepping in and doing it very well. Thank you so much. All right. So the blanks, let me just go over the removing of the blanks. If you can just take note of this, like that's why I actually put it up there. It's just going to help you know the step-by-step method of doing this. So the first thing is basically to highlight the data set. Now this can actually go all the way down to something similar to this. It can still be like something as big as the whole data set. All right, this is just like for an example. So just highlight the data set in question, then you do a function F5. Just click on F5, then you click on special, then you click on the blanks, and then you click on OK. So you can actually use this to do other things. So you can still like go to your formulas here. That's if you have some formulas here, you can still check constants. You can still, but in this case, which is basically what we always do for data cleaning, it is like a very important step. So you just select your blanks and then you click on OK. So when you've done this and you've clicked on your OK, it is going to highlight just the blanks. Okay, well, I think what I can also do is just to remove this because basically I was the one that just put them there. So let's just run over it again, or maybe I can also just use a different color on it just so that you understand. So the color coding shouldn't confuse you. I was the one that put it there. On a normal day, it comes up just like this. So you just select your data set, your F5, special, blanks, OK. The next step is to delete those blanks, which you can use Control minus to do that. Then I explained earlier that we used the first one, which is delete these keys and shift the cells upwards. So in this case, when it deletes it, it goes upwards. So that's why when we are done, we had some spaces under here. So if you're going to try delete these keys and shift these cells left, so you're going to see that the cells, so it deleted a cell from here and then it moved the cell that was here into this place, and that is not what we want. So if it's what you want, then you can that can actually work very well for you. So just assuming you have another blank space here, and then you just want to delete this key, and then you want to shift it left. So when you do that, it just readjusts. So everything is good, but it depends on what you want to use it for. So going back to what we're doing, you select all. Maybe I've said it a number of times, so you should be able to stick. You select special, you click on blanks, you click on OK. Then you click on Control minus to delete your cells, but in this case, you need to delete the entire row so that it doesn't make your data more complicated. So just click on OK and that's it. So this cell, this is fine now, right? So then the duplicate values, how to do that is we agreed that you select, so you can just hold your shift key and then we need to do shortcuts later. You just select the data sets that you want to check for the duplicates. Excuse me, go to condition formatting, click on duplicate values. So here you were asking on the color, right? If I remember. So I was explaining that this is just the default color. So this default color just highlights once you go for a duplicate value. This default color would always pop up. It's a default setting.
Gerald, please can you continue while we wait for her to get back on the duplicates, how to handle that? Thank you.
I think she's back online.
She's back online.
Are you serious? I've been offline. Are you talking to me?
Yes, I think the
Yes, yes.
network threw you out and
Well,
then you're back in.
you went off.
Wow. Oh my god. Oh my god. I've
Um,
just been speaking.
please you share your screen. Mm.
Oh my god. All right. Thank you so much.
So you were discussing on the duplicates, the default color setting. I think someone asked how to set the color, but yeah, you've made that clear that it's actually a default color to identify duplicates on a data set.
Okay. So, all right. So let's just go through it again. Thank you so much. So, okay. So we understand till it's the default setting. So, like I said, you go back to duplicates. So this is where you can actually alternate or make your own choice. So you can use a yellow fill, right? You can use a red fill. You can also do a custom format. So here you can change the numbers. You can maybe just fill. So you want to maybe use red. You're the data analyst. So anything you want to just use to help you know what these duplicates are, right? So it's the color is those ones are a default, but you can always play around with it. I don't know if that's fine. So moving on, please can you still hear me just to be sure? Queen, I need you. Can you still hear me? All right,
Yes, we can. Sorry, I was struggling to unmute myself.
it's fine. Okay, so moving on to this is just a okay, thank you. This is just another way we can clean a data. So sometimes you can get a data set and for some reason, okay, thank you, and for some reason it is in this format. This is supposed to be an address of, it could be an address of a state address, but in this case this is just different addresses. I actually missed the locally and international addresses here just to explain what we are saying, but you need to track and be sure. So me, I know that this is my street, this is the city, and this is the state, and it's just for the three of them. So even in the next one, you have your street, your city, your state, your street, your city, your state. So your street, your city, and the state here. And then if you also look at it properly, you will notice that it comes in threes. That's why I just have this three here. Have your 1, 2, and 3. So we want to break down this address so that it can come in this form, so that the street, the city, and state will be separated. So to do that with our smart Excel, what we can just do is for The ones that are streets, we just do an equal to on the street bar. Then go to the next section for the one that is your city, and then do an equal to for the city. Please, if this is confusing, please note it down and ask me. It's fine. For the state, you do an equal to, and then for your state, so you have something like this. So now we have this street, 23 University Road on Soka Enugu State, is now like this, right? So to do this, you just select everything and our flash field to our rescue. Right? So if you also take note of it, now we have all the streets on this column, we have all the cities here and all the states here. Then to go on to this, we now need to remove these duplicates. Sorry, we're removing the blanks now. So it's good that we just discussed how to remove blanks. So to remove these blanks spaces here now, you also go over your F5, special, your blanks. Then we want to delete. So we want it to move up this time. Unlike the last time that we just said it should remove the rows. So in this case, it's a very good example to show where the cell going up is of good case, like where it's helping us. So now we can see that we have our street, city, state all sorted out and in a very good format to use. And then of course, just in case you want to also have it together, concatenate to our rescue. So we can just do concatenate this cell, give me a space please, add the city cell to it, comma, please give me a space. Please remember to put a space in between the apostrophes when you've clicked and when you've typed it out. So please give me a space, this, then your comma, then the next one is the state, and then that's all, and then you close. So with this, we have a properly cleaned address colon. So address updated. Right. So this is also a good way to clean your data in case you have a data in this format like this. Then moving on, we can now just start working on our pivot tables. So pivot table is a very very cool tool in Excel. Pivot table helps you to do a lot of things in split seconds. It helps you to go, it just helps you really basically to avoid so many back and forth on thinking of formulas and how to do a lot of other things. So we are trying to do, oh, okay, so I think I have something here. I'm going to explain this later, but for now, I don't need it, so just click. Okay. So our pivot table, this is what we have, and then it's just a data set with 64 row 64 rows, yes, and 5 columns. And I just want to reference Chandom because that's where I got this data set from. Sorry. So in this case, we can see that we have some spaces here. So we're just going to assume that we got this data set from our colleague. We are trying to run an analysis on the products that we have in this company. And so I'll just change this to location. Might be a bad idea because we already have geography used here. So it's fine, I'll leave it like this. So this is the name of the of our sales reps, and these are the products that they represent, and these are like the amounts of this product, and then this is like the customer that has purchased this product. So when you just get these data sets, a quick way to just look at it is checking your blanks, basically. So you can just check for, you can start from the name and then you just look through it. Okay, we don't have any blanks here. Do we have blanks here? Okay, so we have blanks. So this is just like a manual way of doing this, instead of, I don't know if you can remember, if this was like a physical class, I would have just ask someone to raise their hand and tell me how to do the blanks, like how to remove it. So we also have a we have blank spaces here, we don't have here. Then we have, okay, we don't also have any customers, so that's fine. So we know where we have our blanks. Then we also take note that we have this amount and then it is sitting, showing us the currency um in this dollar sign. So this is a data type just showing us that this amount is a dollar. It's currency because it has the dollar value, and we can always adjust that on this data format section. Here you can quickly change. If it's just a number, you can quickly pick on general or pick on number, pick on accounting, short date, a large date. And let me also, sorry, just quickly state here that Excel would have a data format using months, then the day of the month, and then the year. Just in case, this is very, very, most times I don't want to like, write our date. We do date. I don't know how you do yours too, but I do date, month, and year. But Excel has made it clear that what it uses is the month, the day, and then the year. So assuming you want to play around with this dates now, you can just have this in this form. So it's showing you that it's 30th of April, which is today's date. So this is just the formatting section that helps you do different things. It helps you make it appear, the data set appear just the way you want it to. So this is a currency and we want it to appear as one, and then we are using currency amount. So if you saw that for some reason it just gave it dollars automatically. So just in case you don't even want it to be dollar, maybe you're working with naira. So you can come down to your number format and then select currency, and then you go to the symbols and then you just select which of them that you need. So in case it's Nigerian naira, you can find it. So these are just different ones that are available. So this is our naira here, so you can just pick any of them and then that's fine. Okay, but now we'll just continue with the dollar that we're using. All right, so now that we've seen that we have some blank spaces here, we will need to format our data sets. We need to just clean it up a bit. So first of all, we've checked that so then we can also just use our F5 and then select, take your blanks, and so it has highlighted the blanks that we have, right? So you just do your control minus and then you're telling it, please delete the entire row, and that is done. So when you look at it again, you will not see any blanks anywhere. Okay, so going on, our data formats are in check. We don't have any text value sitting on this amount. Assuming you have something like this, we'll notice that we need to remove that because we cannot have a text value sitting on a data type of amount. So, but this data is clean to a good extent, so it's fine. We don't have a text value here. We don't have a data value here as well. So we are good to go. So to introduce our pivot tables now, we will need to just select the data that you want to do your pivot with. You can easily do the whole sheet, but in this case, can also just use the data set itself that we're trying to do a pivot on. Then you click on insert, then you click pivot table. So this is showing you the range of data that it has selected. So it actually selected this data. It's coming from A1 to E62, which is the last row here, and that's fine. So we want it to be on a new worksheet. You can either use it on a new worksheet or you can use it on an existing worksheet. When you talk of the new worksheet, it's going to take you to a totally different worksheet, which is what we're going to do. If you want to use the existing worksheet, it's going to ask you for the location of the worksheet, which you still select. You can either select any of the worksheets. Maybe in this case, you can select this particular worksheet, and then it's going to do the pivot data on this worksheet.
So you select the cell that you want the pivot table to start from.
Sorry?
Like, if you select the cell, you can select any worksheet, but it has to be a cell where you want the pivot table to start from.
If you select a cell, are you asking a question or you want to make a contribution?
I was making a contribution, so you were trying to
Okay.
uh,
Yeah, I'm listening.
so I said, so you were trying to create the pivot table, but you were picking a region that was not valid. So you just have to select. So for instance, you can just select the entire table. Then you can click on J2 or J1, and then as your reference for your existing worksheet. So the location you select as a destination cell is important.
Oh,
That's
okay.
if you're using
I
Windows.
want. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Um. So, but if you also want to like just go further in it, right? You can create it on a new worksheet, right? Which would just probably um give you like a better frame, like a better workspace as well in what you want to do, right? So the existing worksheet can be one of them, and then going on a new worksheet can also be another one. So to do that, we have some questions here that we need to also answer. So we're just going to use these questions to do the pivot. But just in case, just to do like a run over on this, looking at the pivot table, right? We have the filters, we have the columns, we have the rows, we have the values. So these are very helpful depending on the analysis that you want to do. This value set here would help you play around, do calculated analysis, do maybe an average, a sum, or different things, a percentage. So it basically does like the mathematics part of this analysis. Then the columns would give you a different view. So if you put something in columns here, it appears on the column section of the sheet. And then if we take it to the row section, it appears on the row section of the sheet. So, and then if we want to do like a filter, it comes up here. So we can just select a data set or a data section of the filter itself. So just to put flesh to what we just said, assuming you have amounts, assuming, so if you have something like this is just showing you different geography that we have, and then the total of like the total amount or the total cost of these products in these different geographies. So for a location in Australia, we we're able to make a sales of maybe $57,000, and then for Canada we're able to make a sale of $37,142. So this just shows you by location what this sum is. So if you want to also know by location what the product is, so this is the different products that we have, and then the total amount of these products in that was sold within this period of time, right? So also you can shuttle between, you can count these values, you can do an average of them. So this is just giving you like the average value of, for instance, you have 50% dark bite, and then if you just filter 50% dark bite here, okay, we have just one, so it's basically just dividing it by one to just give you the average, so it's still the same thing. But if you have like, okay, so initially we counted, so assuming, so just to do it quickly, we can count the number of times these products came up. So we can see that after mines came up 4 times, right? So we can just go ahead and check, do like a cross check with after mines. So when we click on after mines, after 9, sorry, you can see that it came up 4 times. So the average would just be like we discussed yesterday. So from here we can see that the average is 4,000 plus dollars. So when we go back here, and then we want to change this to from the value field section to average, we can see that the after mines is also 4,000 plus. After nines is 4,000 plus. For some reason, sorry, just want to do a quick check. Can notice a barrier. Okay, so it's 4,000 plus as well, right? So we can now go further to answer our questions. So the first one, we want to know the total sales by the salespersons. So this is our salespersons. This is just the names of the salespersons. So to get the total sales, so let me just do this salespersons to avoid. To get the total sales, we are going to remove the products and just put our salespersons. And then here we can also see that we updated the name to salespersons, but it is not reflecting here. We can still see name. So to just quickly update your data sheet in case you had an input or you added something to your data, you can just click on data and then you click on refresh all, and then your data set will refresh on your pivot, and you now have salespersons updated in this pivot. So going on, we want to check our salesperson, and then we want to check the total amount our salesperson sold within this period. So what we can just do is you can just do a right click and then you click on the sum, and then it changes to the sum. So from here we can see the different amounts of sales for each person. Then the next is asking us to, okay, so we can just quickly do a pivot. We can just copy this out from here. If you want to build dashboards, you can just build your charts on this data set and then move your charts to a different environment, spreadsheets, just for your to create your dashboards, right? So we can quickly insert a bar here, a chart, maybe a column chart or a bar chart or any visual at all, to just have a clearer view of at a glance of what each salesperson have sold or have made. Also, when you look at this, you can always toggle through these chart options to see which of the styles you would want to use. You can use any of them. You can edit the text, you can edit the name sections. You can still, let me use different one. So you can get this from your chart design. So you can have something like this. You can still play around. That won't work here because we have just one data set here. So it's not going to be as clear, but you can still change the rows and the columns of the data sets just to suit. We're going to do it again with a different one just for better understanding. Then also, so from here we can quickly look at it and see that RAM and GG have like the highest sales, and they are almost very similar, but just with a small variation. So you can also do a sort here. So we can either sort from largest to smallest or from smallest to largest. And then you notice that when you do this, it quickly affects the chart as well to show you what you want to see. So this is just a visual for salesperson by, we can just do underscore amount. And of course, you can still insert, you can still do this inside here. You can still run your pivot charts inside your pivot section as well. So moving on, the next question that we have here is salesperson by geography. So in this case, you're telling me that, okay, instead of the amount, you just want to see the salespersons and the geography. So we're going to just remove the amount and take your geography, and you can just put it under each salesperson. So we can see that the bar covered a total of 5 locations: Australia, Canada, India, New Zealand, and US. Boys covered more, color covered a few. So with this, you can see the salesperson by location. We can also just move these columns, the geography, to the column section, so that we can now see when we input a value here, we can see with the help of the value which salesperson went to which location. So to also do that, we can quickly take the geography as well, since it's what we want to check for. We have it in the columns. We can also add it on the value section, right? And then from here we can see that Australia bar had just 1 sale in Australia, bar had 2 sales in Canada. So this just helps you to quickly see what happened and the places that each of the salespersons were able to cover. And then to also see the visual, we can still go further to, okay, because I've named this sheet, let me just create a new one. And we are learning, right? It's just to see it better. So from here we can insert a column. So we can insert a chart for better visualization. So you can just select the one that would suit what you're trying to show. So in this case, we can see that bar had the different locations which the key here is showing us, but for some reason it would be better to switch the cells, let our rows be our columns, and let the x-axis go to the y-axis, and then just interchange it for a better view, so that this doesn't confuse the person that we are trying to give the data to, right? Because it's going to be confusing. But even at that, you can still see that it is still not as clear. But though we can quickly look at it and know that, okay, in Canada, RAM had a lot better sales. And then, of course, you can just add zeros here to make it better. But also, a better view that we can use will be the clusters. So we can just use a stacked column to also show this. So what the stacked column would do is it will just give you different color shades for different locations, and then for each of the salesperson you can just get have an idea, right, of the total sales, or of how large or how small the sales was done. So for RAM, we can still see very clearly that Canada have like had a lot of sales in Canada here. So also you can always edit this chart area for each section. You can still choose different types of charts, or you can just always play around with it. You can change the color, you can do basic things. Maybe if you're trying to present to your company and they have a default color like a brand color, you can want to add your company color to this just to bring it home better. Then we can also have an interactive reports. So when we also go to our pivot table here, we can just come and click on inserts, and then you go to get your slicer. So what the slicer does is it will just quickly help you toggle around your data set even while you're working on it. It helps for a good presentation of data, maybe on your dashboard, or just for easy analysis. To avoid you having to use your filters over and over again, you can just quickly select slicer. So here, when you click on insert slicer, it will ask you what you want the slicer to show, right? So we want to slice we can slice by geography, and then you just select OK. So for better representation, we can remove the geography and then add our products to the rows, and then okay, so we're going to have like a lot of, so it's just for a better understanding. So we can just still leave it like this. I would want everything to be on the screen and not having values go in here so that it doesn't confuse us. Okay, so to see for the values of Australia, you can just toggle between this slicer. When you select each and every one of them, it gives you just the particular data that is for which one. Let us show this field list and use something else. Let's just use we can just go ahead to use this. So it also shows it better though. So instead of having all these all the way down here. If you're trying to know what product was sold by each person in different locations, just like we saw earlier, you can just highlight each of the locations and it's going to show you what happened in all these locations. And also, if you have like a graph here, let's just use this for the example. If you have the graph here, the graph would also alternate as well. So that's what an interactive slide would look like working with your slicers. Okay. So far we've been able to look at the pivots, clean data, do different data steps, data cleaning steps. And then I would also want to, you're supposed to have like a shortcut for folder here. Okay, so for some reason I think it's not here at the point. But so the ones that just come to my head, we know the control plus E, which is for a flash fill. Then we have control and then arrows. So your control and then the up and down arrows. So what that one does is when you want to go to the last data or the last cell with a data value, you can just click on shift, click on control and then go down. Just hold down your control and then depending on the direction you want to go to, if it's down, you click on the down arrow. If it's up, you click on the up arrow. If it's side, you click on side. So that's how to do that. Then if you want to highlight all the data sets in a direction at the same time, so what you can do is hold down your shift, hold down your control, and then click on the arrow, maybe up or down, and hold it again, click on side or the other direction. Then another one that you could, okay, I think I have it here. Sorry, I think I should have it here. Okay, yes. So these are different, just a few that came to mind. You have the control plus shift to add filters. So if you do your control plus shift, then L, so this automatically adds your filter section here. Then if you also click it again, the filter section will go off. Then let's see. So you'd also have control plus 1, alt equal to, control minus, control 0. So all these things will basically just help you, and a lot more. We have a lot of commands on Excel. So this control, okay, so this control plus C alt ESV is just going to help you to paste values, right? So the ESV is, sorry, okay. So just in case we have like a formula, maybe we wanted to do, like we've seen earlier, we had, okay, I can just go back and use an existing data set for this. Assuming we added these values equal to some Just do an average or something. So when we have something like this, and instead of doing the copy, Control C, Control V, then going on to doing pasting it as values, just the shortcut to do that to just be to do your Control C, then Alt ESV. So you press your Alt and press ESV. ESV might be difficult for you. So what I use while I was learning it is eat some veggies. So you can come up with any acronym that can help you. So I have other acronyms as well. So just anything that works for you. So, and if you also notice here, it's a good time to mention that this can actually work with either V or A or F. If you look through this, you will see that some of these letters are underlined here. So the W is underlined here, X is underlined here, H is underlined, M is underlined, O is underlined here. So for the values, you just press the V and then it selects its values because it is V that is underlined. And then here, the values, the formulas are gone. So also, if you can do the Control C, then Alt ESV. You can do EST for format. You can do ESH for the theme. If you want to go to multiply, ESM. So just note that these ones that are underlined is just, you can also have it in other places as well. It's just to call up that function in this space. Right, so right now, we can now go into our data sets and ask our questions. So far, I want to hear from everyone. Were we able to do anything with the data sets? What have we done so far on the data sets? Do we have any questions so far? Am I still on? So please, let's just interact. Are we good so far? Am I still on? Was anyone able to analyze the data sets?
Thank you so much, Silva. Like, this has been a very, very wonderful session. We're waiting for comments to come in. Uh, okay, Ernest is saying she missed the first data cleaning demo. I believe that you went over that data cleaning process again. So I don't understand when she says she missed
I
it.
think there will be a recording, right?
Yes, there is a recording. The link to be shared, and you can always check up on SP Port Harcourt section 103, the YouTube page to see recordings of these events and similar events too. So you can always learn others that have been done. Um,
Okay, but just because she asked, let's also just go through it. So, but for similar words, you can always make reference to recording. So, can you just type which one exactly? Which one exactly? MDO. Which first tab? Is it the very first tab, or is it the trim function? That's like the very first tab I have on cleaning. Is that what you mean? We're waiting for your feedback. You don't have a PC with me here. Okay, no problem. You can always use it. You can always check it. When you get a PC, you just need to practice. Honestly, you need to like keep practicing. So you can always play from the YouTube channel, SPE. I'm sure they'll share the link much later, or you can just go on and type SPE on YouTube, and I'm sure you're going to see this. Are you sure? Okay, if you're sure it's fine, then MD it's okay, but we can just go through it here. Thanks, it was okay. Okay, so I was asking if anyone was able to look through the data, or you have like, I want inputs. I've been talking all through, so I want to hear from you before. I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you. Someone say something. Were you able to look at the data set Or do you have a contribution to make? We had a contribution earlier. Thank you so much for that. Do we have any other contributions so far? Do we have question?
Okay,
Are we understanding it? What are the tools you use on your daily work as an analyst? So for me, it varies. I wouldn't readily go to Excel right now. I can maybe be using SQL or maybe Excel. Yes, Excel. But it just depends on the data set you want to analyze. If what you want to do is just Excel is what you need, then you can just use Excel, and who needs the stress? But if you need to query a database, you can't use Excel for that, right? And you can also just query your database and then bring out the data set, and then analyze it using Excel or analyze it on Power BI or on Tableau. So these are like the basic tools I use. It depends on what you're doing. Sometimes you might just have your whole day on Power BI from the, from morning till night. They're just trying to use a visual to describe something or to get it better. Sometimes you spend your whole day on Excel. So the tools on a daily basis might not be one exactly. So it depends on the task that you're doing. But just know that you need a querying tool, you need a visualization tool, you need a tool that like a spreadsheet that will help you to see your data, to help you to get acquainted with your data. Because another thing I don't think I mentioned is that when you get a data set, it's good to familiarize yourself with the data set. Like go through it, go through it. If you notice, I was calling some location and geography. That shouldn't be. You're supposed to know what the column names are. What are we looking at with this data set? What was captured? Is it the location? Is it the age group? Is it the age range, years of experience? Whatever was captured, just get familiarized with the data so that when you're seeing errors, for instance, if I didn't know that we had a section that is just currency and amount, I might just be seeing values or maybe text, and I wouldn't even know that I'm not supposed to have it. But because I know that this is not supposed to be, because this is an amount column, the data type is supposed to be currency and not a text value, I'll be able to clean my data properly, right? So it's also a very helpful tip to know. Okay, so all right. So in the absence of a question, we'll just go ahead to do the next one, which is this data set that I shared earlier. So this data set is just different, is a company data set that has an application. So it has different applications, and all these are, I can just use the filter here. We can see the different applications that we have here: Angry Bites, Chocolate Croissant, Crushed by Candy, Subway Wafers. So these are the different application names of the applications that they have running in their company. And then this is the number of downloads for each of the applications. And this is the number of uninstalls. So after people downloaded it, these people said they were tired, they didn't want it, maybe they didn't have space, maybe it wasn't serving them, it could be for any reason or another. But these are the people that uninstalled after the downloads. Then these are the people that gave them 5-star rating. Oh yes, you're doing a great job, thank you so much. So, and these people said no, boo, you're not doing a very good job. So they give them 1-star rating. And then this is like the total ratings so far, that's from 1-star to 5-star. And then this is just like the representative ID. So for ID, each ID is unique to each application, because that's like the software developer that developed the IDs, like the applications, right? So this is the month where this application was downloaded. So if we also notice, we can see different, um, we can see blanks, we can see, I was being nice in this data set, and I don't even think I would have just added some very complicating things, because this is not exactly a real life scenario. right? The data has been cleaned a bit, but of course there are still some data that you get and it is squinky clean. So if you have like abroad, there are some people that just have different specializations. Just like in Nigeria, we tend to do front end, do back end. One person is doing everything. So if you have a place or if you work in a company where you have someone that mines the data, a data engineer probably mines the data, you have someone that cleans it, then maybe you're just a Power BI specialist that your work is just to visualize the clean data, then it's fine. You don't even need to stress. But of course, from experience, you have to check and be sure that the data is actually clean. So yes, sometimes you can actually get very clean data as well. So looking at this thing, we can still see that we have some blank spaces. So let's go through the function f5 again. I believe this is going to stick, and I'm happy. I like the fact that I am doing it repeatedly because I want it to stick. Always know that this blank space thing, like we have it a lot most times, so it's a must to. And also check for your data set so that you'll be sure that when you're depending on what you want to analyze, right? If you have a lot of blank spaces in total rating, doesn't mean you have something like this in total rating, right? And everything is blank, and you're not even going to use the total rating in your analysis, then you might not need to remove it, because sometimes you might just delete and delete, and then you will not even make sense of the data again. Imagine you just delete everything here. It's not going to exactly advise the data properly. Just take control C so that our data comes back in one piece. So going on, we'll just look at the, now that we have our blanks gone, we are definitely going to have duplicates here. So I'm not going to bother to check for this duplicate here, because the duplicates, we have different applications here. So, and then the rep IDs are also not unique, because they are also marking the they're also marking the application. They're also like just the software developers. But assuming you want to have like a unique key, of course you're not the one doing this, but maybe you pull the data and then you have a unique key, maybe of app download 001. So this app download 001 might just be telling you, we have, is it from here? MD, can you, I think you're on mute. Do you want to say something? Okay, so assuming you have app download 001, assuming that's a naming convention for us in the company in the back end when we're trying to develop this application. So we're saying that for every download, every single download have a unique identifier. So this unique identifier, we have decided from our naming convention to give it something like this. So we just drop down and it automatically gives us fills out 1 2 3 4 5. I don't even think I mentioned this. So just because this came up as well, you can have a serial numbering section, and then maybe you just have other values down. So if you want to fill out the remaining cells, maybe this is just the serial number, you want to fill out the remaining cells, you hold and drag this down. So this is just going to tell you to it's like in data analysis, well, in data science it's called a different thing, but this is just going to like give it a, like it's going to write in this command to it. It's going to, it's just like testing, it's just going to tell it um to dry run, to take in these inputs, to take in these steps, take in this model and use it and complete the rest, right? So if you just double click, it automatically fills out for the rest of them. Okay, so this is going to be like serial number here, for the serial numbering, I was trying to show in a case where you can search for duplicates. So if this is supposed to be like a primary key here, and it is a unique value, it's supposed to be unique to every single download, no two downloads to have the same number, just in case you want to get the value. And of course, that should be how these downloads were gotten. So if you have another, maybe you have this repeating twice, or you have this again, or you have 10 here. So in this case, because you've studied your data and you know you have a unique colon here, which is this SN, which is your primary key, and you're not supposed to have a repeating formula here or a duplicate. So in this case, you can now go ahead and search for duplicates. So that's why it's good to master your data sets just before you continue. But in this case, we don't have anything like that. So just going to keep our data sets the way it was. Call it app ID, download ID. Right, so the data questions that we are having here, the first one, it wants to know the total downloads for Sugar Rush. So we can still use our pivot data, our pivot table here. And then, so it has asked a question, maybe the company, you're trying to analyze which of these applications had like the highest downloads. So that's like a general thing to analyze, because so the business has told you we need to increase our revenue, we need to increase our sales, we need more sales. So you're trying as a data analyst, how do I help my company increase their revenue maybe in the last quarter? So what you can do, you can go back to an existing, maybe the proxy data, which is the existing data that the company has, and then you use it to run an analysis and know maybe which product sold better in the last quarter. And maybe for some reason, some products might sell better in the fourth quarter than in the second quarter. Of course, maybe the fourth quarter Christmas sales could increase a lot of different other kind of sales. So you need to know your products, you need to know your business, and you need to know, just do like general analysis to know what, ask the right questions, then you drill down further. So here to know the total.
Hello, Sylvia. Okay. Sorry to cut you. Just so be sure that a lot of us are still following, we're on call, we're going through, and we're actually practicing along, because this data set now is what was actually shared with everybody, and we expect that we're all practicing together. So since we have the question set already outlined, which is very nice, so I would really love if each of us can be working on the stuff using what I've been taught so far. Then you ask questions, as in you ask the questions on screen, let everyone practice, and then let's have people give in their answers to actually ascertain that they are actually following with the lecture so far. I don't know if you what you think about that.
Yeah, sorry, I was reading what I was reading the comment. Can you just take that again? Sorry, you said ask questions.
Yeah, so you have this question set already, so would really love if people can actually solve the questions there using the data set and then give in their own answers.
Oh, that's great. That would be great. So can we have?
And yes, and because we are also time conscious. Today is Saturday. We know people have a lot they want to do, so we're actually looking at time so that we can actually look forward to running up. But then we also want to be sure that people have actually gotten value for the time they've spent thus far. So well, on that note, you can continue.
All right, that's fine. Of course. So I think this is supposed to be the last slide, like the last. Okay, so we have a lot. So I'll just maybe treat one or two that I think will introduce new things to what we've discussed. But on what you said, can anyone maybe answer your question? how can I get the data set? Okay, so Isaac, I can see your feedback here. You said you noticed some blanks, 5-star rating amongst others. Exactly. So, like you've just noticed, we've been able to delete those blank spaces just to make sure that we're working with the correct data sets, right? And then Daniel, you're asking, won't deleting the entire row for just one empty cell make us get a wrong answer? Okay, so yes and no. Yes, because for this data set, it's of course it's just one cell, right? It's not supposed to affect the data set, because when you look at the total data that you have to work with, and then as against removing just one set, it depends on what you're deleting exactly. That's why I mentioned it earlier that if you are trying to answer a question about the total rating and you have like a lot of cells without a value, you cannot go ahead and you are trying to answer a question on maybe the total downloads, and then you have a cell with just with no rating, and if you delete everything, it's going to alter the whole, it's going to give us like a different, it's not, I won't call it a wrong data, but it's going to advise the data in a different way, which can be good and can be bad again. So one, you need to make anyone who is viewing the data know the data sets that you actually used in this analysis. Whenever you are sending like a report, maybe to your manager or before it gets to C-level, the stakeholder that is going to view it, it is very important that you state it in your report that these are the cleanings, these are the things that you've removed. So you deleted empty total rating rows, and this is why, because we had 14 empty rows there. You deleted total download rows, just state it there, just in case the person needs that information back. So why I deleted it, and I deleted it comfortably, is because from, well, that's because I know the questions I asked here, and it's infinitesimal to the whole data set, right? So that will be for that. Then so going on, so I can see that, so for someone like Isaac, you tried the data. Were you able to, does anyone have an answer that we can validate? Maybe if you've tried any of them, so that we don't have to run through all of them again, so that at least we try and close before 1:30 max. Does anyone want to share something? Mm. No one, nobody. Okay, so back to my faith. um it would have been nice that this is very, very interactive, right? No one is going to bite you. I really loved it when Akanibi came on and explained something, right? And he was able to help us go back, because I might have felt I've spoken about something, but then I actually skipped it. So for a better understanding, it's good we talk and talk back so that we can all get it better and understand ourselves much better. So while that is said, and just understand that nobody is right, nobody is wrong here. We are all learning. You're safe, and you're very, very, very safe. No question is wrong. No question is too. I don't know. Right. So let's just go on to this. So to get the total downloads for
Okay,
this, you
so
just
we
click
have
here
someone
and
that's
click on
just put in
insert,
his answer.
and then you get your pivot table up. So what we want to get is the total downloads for Sugar Rush, right? So we are specific about the application itself that we want to get the total download for. So if we take these rows and put up on the application, if we take application and put on the row segment, and then we take our downloads and put it on the value segment, right? We will be able to see all the downloads for each and every one of the applications. So, and this is showing the total, which is the sum. But if you want to summarize value as count, but that's not the question. So we wanted to get the total, and that is what we have now. But we were specific that we want the total for Sugar Rush. So you just select Sugar Rush, and then as easy as that, you can just copy this, depending on how you want the answers to be. You can just have this as feedback.
Okay,
Feedback.
Sylvia. Sorry to cut you there. Actually, someone dropped the answer to that first question even before he started working on it, and from the looks of it, the person was right. And so, a virtual round of applause to Daniel for giving us our first answer.
Well done, Daniel. Well done, well done, well done, very well done. And thank you so much for interacting as well. Thank you so much. Well done. Then, so was anyone able to try out? Okay, well, let me also look at another way that we can. So another way to do this also was just to introduce our slicers. For some reason, we can still see blanks here, which we don't want. And I hope this was not used in the calculation. Oh, right. Okay, so I feel we have, so in case you noticed, you can always double click to drill into any data that you want to look at on the pivot section, just in case you want to get more insight on what's happening there. So I noticed that we still had some blanks here, and that's because maybe during the course of adding more inputs, this extra detail came on and we don't need it. And right now, can't. So this is why it's very good to have like a duplicate data set. So at this juncture, we've done a lot of back and forth with this data. So we might not really be able to know what was deleted, and we might have like a lot of control C's to this. So it would just be fine if we would go and maybe from wherever we copied this data set, we can just copy it and put it back here and still work with it. But for now, let's just assume that, which is very sorry, can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Well, you have to share your screen. Your
Should we go ahead with okay. So I think that Daniel is sorry, just to be sure that you can hear me and you can see me, can you just put on the comment section?
Yes, we can hear you and we can see you. Though you had network glitch, but everything is fine now.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so the next question here, let's see if Daniel was right. We want to calculate the total downloads for C apps. So what we can do is we can just do that here with a command. You can just do sum because it's total downloads that you want to do, and we're going to use a sum if here because we're trying to use a command. We're not just summing the total downloads, we're trying to sum the total downloads for C apps only. So we want to sum the download section, and we are summing it for this application. So we are summing this. The sum range is the download, the criteria range is the app section, and then the criteria itself is we want to sum C applications. That's applications that started with a C. I would have really loved to see how Daniel worked on his own. so that we can just understand, maybe get a different light to it. But for this case, if we want to solve a question like this, we can just introduce what we call wildcards in Excel. So wildcards is used to do like some different, flexible, to do some different kind of analysis. You can have like a wildcard that has, so when you want to get do an analysis for with letters, maybe starting with C and any other thing, so you use this asterisk in the formula I'm going to put now, but that's because it's some if. Then if you want to do for those that ends with a C, you just have something up like this, asterisk and C, right? So to go further on what we were doing, so we're trying to sum the download section, and we're using this application section, and then we want to solve for any application that is starting with a C. And wow, Daniel was correct. Yay! Daniel, would you like to let us know if you did it in a different way? Can you please unmute your mic? At least at the start of our session.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Daniel. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you. So I just used the pivot table that you did, that you showed us. Yes. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, great. So that's definitely another way, but I just needed to use this here so that we can learn how to do this one as well. Like just using a stone to kill two birds. So of course you can use your pivot to also select all. So in this case, I'm just going to filter all the applications that have a C to it.
Yes.
So well done. Well done. So the rest are actually very similar, because so if you want to do uninstalls in December 2020, so for this uninstalls, we can just go ahead and use our pivot. So for the uninstalls in December, so this one is okay. This is actually unique because we're also checking for a particular month, right? So here we're going to take note of the months. So the months can be put, because we are going to filter by month, but I was just trying to put it here so that you can also see like different. And for some reason our blank space is still here, and that's because we did not refresh this when we were done, and that's bad. So the value has gone off now. So this is just definitely showing us the different months, and so for a trend like this, we can use a line graph instead. I was supposed to go on to explain further on the different charts, but we can just be picking them like this. So for a trend that is going from one month to another, so it would be nice to have the months. I just want to interchange this data, right? So that we have our months on the x-axis. So here is now showing us like a trend of the different months and the different applications for each month. So when we look at November, we can notice this spike in Angry Birds. So of course, Angry Birds had, and this is the download. So Angry Birds had like a lot of downloads in November, and in August it was Chocolate Crossing. I think I asked the question like that somewhere here, about the highest Okay, yes, the most downloads in any month, the first, second, and the third with visuals. So this is a way to see it. You can see from the line graphs, but it's not going to be so clear here because we would want, when you just look at the visual, you'll be able to pick what this person is trying to say. So this is just showing us like different trends and how the apps were downloaded for within this period, right? So to also check for the month of, let me go back to the question, uninstalls in December. So this time around, we're not working with the downloads. We want to work with the uninstalls. So you can just remove the downloads and then bring in your uninstalls. So these guys are the people that uninstalled the app, said they're not happy. So you can actually just look at this data like this, and then you run. One of the things you can do, we just want to know, why did they leave? What happened? We need them back. We need them to come back. We need you. So when you look at this, you will notice that it's still in November. We have Angry Birds on a high spike. So you can just go further with maybe more different data and details. Maybe you can go to the review section and check the feedbacks, the people that uninstalled. What were they saying? Is it that they didn't like the applications? Did anything major? Did we have an issue in the application in November that really caused an increase in people uninstalling the applications? Then also, if you notice for Subway wafers in October, they had like a Skype in downloads, but then it later dropped to 58. So you can also want to check the app developer for Subway Sub. What happened? What happened in October? What happened in November? How did you make the drops to reduce? But you can still see that in December we also had like it went up again. So is it that we had a promo? Did we have a sale? Did we have a promo? Did we have like a competition that people will have to use our applications to download in November? And then so we had a lot of people coming on board and people were not leaving. So these are just different questions that you can ask that will help you to get insight on your data. Right. So I also asked here, which app should the company invest more in? So there are just different ways to do. Okay, so let me just put it up to you people, right? So and we're going to close with that. So okay, it's fine. So so which application did the company actually use? Which application really worked better for the company? If you are a data analyst, which you are now or you're going to be soon, what kind of questions would you ask? What kind of questions are you going to ask? Just drop one or two, then we can close with that. So maybe when you drop it, we can now run an analysis to see further from the little data set that we have. Anybody? Okay, so Queen, just look out in case you see any contributions. But if I am to answer this, I'm going to, they're asking which application should the company invest more. So you're going to check the downloads to see like which of the applications were downloaded more. So let's just use the visuals because we're running out of time.
I have something in the chat box.
Okay. I think I dropped off. Can you hear me now? Apps to the highest downloads and lowest uninstall. So thank you so much, MD and Daniel. Sorry, Queen, am I back on now?
Yes, you are.
All right. So exactly. So we can just check apps with the highest downloads, which we can see from here. Sugar Rush in June, then Angry Birds in November. Then we can also check apps with the highest uninstalls. So for the ones with the highest downloads, you can just do more promos, run more adverts, and let people know about it and keep coming on board. The ones with the uninstalls, you can just put out a survey, get feedback from people. Do you enjoy using this application? Ask different questions. If you check your reviews and then fix the bugs if you have any of them. So the other thing I would also just want to brief in on is
Okay, I sense she's having a little bit of a network glitch, and but we're already coming to an end. She's just trying to wrap up with the questions. Since we already have data set with us and we have the questions, I would really encourage each and every one of us to try it out, practice, because one thing about working with data or tech or any area that requires learning is for you to consistently practice. You understand? I know if she comes back online before we end, I would ask her to give us insights on how to get more data from online sources, free online sources, so that we can keep practicing. It's good to keep developing ourselves so that we'll become masters in these different areas. So we're actually coming to an end. Simeon, please, can you take the photograph session?
Okay.
So I encourage every one of us to please turn up our camera so we can see who we've been talking with, who's been on the board with us, who's been learning with us. I don't know if we can have Daniel wave to us. O'Shea, he's looking like tech bro. Where is MD? I would like to see MD. And you want to put up your camera? Simon, are we done?
Yeah, we are.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, so I'll go back to sharing my screen. Simon, please can you help me project?
I wasn't okay.
Okay. Sylvia, you're back. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Wait, I wasn't back. You couldn't hear me since?
Yes.
Okay. I can't even hide emotions that my heart is actually broken, but
I'm so sorry. Network can be somehow like that. We understand.
like I've just okay, sorry. Like where did you stop? I can just quickly run over, please.
Okay, so you're looking at the rest of the data and the questions, understand how to go about them. So yes, so basically you're running up. Well, it's fine. So we've all been charged and we're looking forward to practicing more. So I would like you to share with us how to get more data sets for further practices.
Oh, okay. I actually was showing that earlier. So I was just saying that for you to keep learning, but just confirm you can see this, please. Can you see this? Can you see my screen?
Your screen is not showing. We're still seeing your fine face. No, your screen.
Oh, Sorry, you. Let me just look at it again. The network is really. It's 1-0 for the network today.
Yes.
I'm so sorry, everyone. Okay, so I already explained this earlier that we need to keep learning. We need to just keep learning. We have a lot of resources on YouTube that we can all use, right? And so now that you have like a step, you have the skill sets that you need, just use those ones. Go on YouTube and search. Well, the issue with YouTube is that most times you might not really know what you're looking for, so you get hit with a lot of things. But you have a lot of resources there that you can actually use. And then I also have a YouTube channel where I educate people on cryptocurrency and finance, but another arm of it is also being built up for the analytics. So expect more things also on that channel. So you can check out for so you can you still hear me?
Yes, we can.
And you can see my screen?
Yes, we can.
All right. So Coursera has a very good course, which is Google for Data Analytics, and it's in partnership with Google. There are a lot of scholarships out there that you can key into. There's one with Umuzi, so you can also check that out and just get scholarships. Even Udacity, the cost might be a bit high, but if you look out for, if you check out for scholarships, you're going to get a lot of them. The Talium is a good place, quantum analytics. So these are ones I know people have used and they're actually very good. So LinkedIn communities, you need to join LinkedIn communities, Medium, Discord. So this is going to help you to get information in this space. I also wanted to just show you how to do that. But just go on LinkedIn, then you just click on groups, LinkedIn groups, and then you'll be able to see how to just go on LinkedIn, search data analytics groups, and then you have a lot of it. Just send a request to them, and then the new person is going to help you, is going to log on, is going to admit you into the group. Then a good place to also search for Kaggle. Kaggle is a very good resource place for you to get your data sets. So when you just need to do is, I already have a profile here, so you just need to create a profile, or you can just log on. Then when you just come here, basically you just click on different, you can search for maybe you're trying to do an analysis on finance, for instance. So when it pops up, you're going to see different projects here. These are the ones that people have already analyzed at different times. So when you open them, you'll be able to see how they ran the analysis. And then you can also be able to get the data set. So if you click on data set here, um, then you click on finance. So this I didn't have to complete finance, and different data sets are coming up. So basically all these things are just different data sets that you can open, and then when you open each and every one or any of them, you can just click on download. So here it's going to download the data set for you. Then you can now insert these data sets. So it downloads it as a CSV file. So you just need to come to insert your data, click on text or CSV. I hope this doesn't start. So basically you just click on your text/CSV, and then you just the same way you select a file from your file menu, you just check what the data was stored as, and then so basically it's supposed to be in download. It probably has not fully downloaded yet. So you just get it from your download section. All these things were downloaded from there. And then let me see. Okay, still trying to download actually. So when you're, but basically just download it and insert the data sets like that. Then you can also come down. When you're done with your analysis, you can still compare your analysis with the person. Okay, so we have it here now. It was stored as it's stored on this PC. Just checking this path. This PC downloads. So going to this PC and I'm going to my downloads. And for some reason, I still cannot see it here. So just in case this is trying to happen, which I really do not know why. So because it's archived, that should be a good reason. So in a case, when you see something like this, it's good it's happening. So when you see something like this, please just extract the files, and then you'll be able to get the data sets in this format. So you just import the data sets and use. Let's just run through it, then I can now go back to doing that. So here you see the different an already made example, an already existing analysis that someone has already done on this particular data set. So with that, this one, it doesn't have a discussion here, it doesn't have a metadata, but there are still like a lot of other things that you can use. So just download any data set, play around with it. Most of them might not come with, they can just come as an Excel format, so you can use that.
Thank you so much, Sylvia. It's been great learning with you. However, we are time constraints. SP, we look forward to professionalism and being able to stick to certain principles, our core values, one of them being time conscious. So at this point, we would have to end the training session and finish with our activities for the rest of the day. And big thank you. Like even I myself learned some stuffs, and I look forward to learning how to design on Canva. Like it's a really beautiful outlook. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, everyone. And please keep in touch.
Definitely. You sure will have me in your DMs like on a steady. So we'll send you can check out SP on LinkedIn. We are very active on social media, particularly on LinkedIn and Instagram. So you can check out SP Port Harcourt section where you would see links to this event and several other events we've had, particularly in areas like this and in other training areas, especially for those who are interested in the oil and gas sector and and also other soft skills, because we don't just train people to be technically sound, but you have to be sound in all ramifications. So yes, you know it, but then you have to learn how to actually communicate those ideas you've developed with the persons, because your 1 billion idea, if not pitched, will not bring 1 billion naira into your accounts. That's the fact. So yes, we have other training process and training sessions we've had in different areas. So do well to check out our page on LinkedIn, and then there you'll be moved to our YouTube channel. And also Sylvia mentioned that she has a YouTube channel too, that you can learn cryptocurrency, which is like the new, let me just say the word I want to use, but crypto is the in thing, NFTs and all. So you can learn a lot from there. Yes, her link to her LinkedIn profile is on the chat box. Please do look at it. If you can copy it out so you can follow up with her, check out her page. MD is very proactive. She already followed her. Interesting. So you do that so you can keep up with more information on what she's doing and then know how it equips you. So also you can do same for SP Port Harcourt section. So you are informed on when we have new events, new trainings, and mind you, these trainings are mostly free of charge, which if you have to pay to learn this on other websites, you'll actually pay a whole lot to have this what you're having free. So I encourage all of us to take advantage of this golden opportunity. Simeon, please, can you project for me, please? Okay, so we've had our photography section, unless we are all liking pictures and want to go over it again. Else we've had our photograph section. So for membership, SP, we like to have new members, and if you're not yet a member, please do want to reach out to Port Harcourt section to have a membership registered for you. If you're already a member, please renew your membership. Membership is only renewed once a year, so it's just once a year. We have the student members, we have the young professionals, we have the senior professionals. So for our students, no matter the university where you are, if there's an SP chapter in your school, you can actually join the chapter to actually follow up with the activities. If you are not yet registered as a student, please do well to reach out so you can be registered. Student membership is free of charge. So yes, SP pays for your membership as you're a student. Now, when you graduate, you actually have 1 year of free membership before you start paying to be a professional member. For new registrations for new professional members is 26,000, while renewal is just 21,000, and it's just yearly, once a year. So you're not paying this monthly, it's just one payment for a year. So SP involves in several activities, and you can grow, you learn, you increase your network. And we all know that the larger your network, more relevant your network, it's easier it is for you to get certain things done. Yes, I know it's shocking, right? True, that's what SP does for you. So these are the contact persons for our membership. You can send them mails, you can check them out on LinkedIn to actually reach out to know more on SP membership. You can also check me up on LinkedIn. My full name is still Moses Queen Omogene, but once you type Moses Queen, I'm sure it should like pop up something, and then through SP, it's easier to reach out to some of us. Okay, so that's what we have on membership. Following on, we have several events upcoming because SP Port Harcourt section and SP at large, we love to give back to the society. So we're having a football tournament for charity and cancer awareness, and this will be taking place on the 14th of May 2022. So it's no longer far, it's barely 2 weeks away, and the venue is in Port Harcourt, the River State University of Science and Technology, which is now River State University, and the football pitch there. So please do well to register, and I believe there's a raffle draw. Next, click enter. Yes, we're having a raffle draw. So once you get your ticket for the event, you actually qualify for a raffle draw for which different gifts will be given. Please, I mean, you can't pass up on this. And also, we're having our annual technical symposium and exhibition. So this is a very big event. You get to meet top professionals in the oil and gas industry. You also get to learn a lot, network with people, and grow in all that you're doing, particularly in your career. So I'm expecting us to not miss out on this. And the annual technical symposium exhibition will be taking place on the 24th of May. And the venue is at Spring Place at Peter Audley Road, Port Harcourt. So if you can't join physically, I'm sure there'll be a way for you to join virtually. There's the virtual link. SP is an all-rounding society. So we'll be having the vote of thanks to be given by our wonderful MD, she's the MD of Cypher Crescent. I think a subdivision of Cypher Crescent, and she happens to be the chairperson of WIN, in the person of Madam Tombari Emeka Duruza. So, Ma, if you're still on this call,
yes, I am. Thank you very much, Queen. I would like to say a very big thank you to our facilitator, Sylvia Ikebudu. Thank you so much for your time, your patience. We apologize for all the hitch and all the troubles. Thank you for making this event a huge success. We do really appreciate you. And also to the WIN committee team, I want to thank you also for helping to put this together. And very importantly, the participants, I thank you for attending. Without you, this event would not have been possible. We could have just held the meeting amongst ourselves. So you are the MVPs. So thank you so much for making this a huge success. Like Queen said, the copies of the videos will be shared with us, access to it or links to it, so that we can go through it again and just to keep us refreshed. The essence of this was to build some sort of digital capacity skills in us as women, but we know that we had majority of men in attendance. That shows that there's a lot of work we need to do amongst the women folk to encourage them to begin to pick up these skills, unless the meaning of this is that we have more men that need these skills than women. If that be the case, then that's excellent. Not excellent in the sense that we are achieving our job. Otherwise, guys, please help us share this with a friend, share this with a sister, share this with a colleague, and let's continue to encourage and build the skills that we need for the future. On that note, we want to say thank you so much, our facilitator. Thank you for the host. Thank you everyone for making this a success. Have a good weekend and a restful day. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Can we have one volunteer take us to the closing prayer so we can bring this event to an official closure? We started with God and we are ending same way. I am actually going to go in good faith and nominate somebody. MD, please lead us in our closing prayer.
Why did you do this to me? All right, can you hear me? Confirm.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, thank you. Heavenly Father, we just want to thank you for this moment. Thank you for this program. Thank you for everyone that you've used to be able to disseminate this wonderful information. The same your name be glorified in the name of Jesus. Lord, we pray that as we progress in our career, as we progress in our studies, that Lord, you continue to give us, the unction to function. You continue to help us to know the right things to do, to know the right resources to look after, to know the right set of people to connect with. And at the end of the day, let us have the full cause to glorify your holy name. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for answered prayers. For in Jesus' name I have prayed.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much, MD, for that spirit-filled session. Okay, so goodbye to everyone, and we look forward to having you in our forthcoming events. Thank you.
Thank you, dear. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.